Alrighty, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're making a simple SEO optimized article generator using no-code tools, namely Flutterflow, make.com, and then we'll be tapping into OpenAI, and we'll also be using RapidAPI as well. We'll be using an SEO API from there. So just quickly a demo. So this is what the simple app will look like. Essentially type in a keyword. So let's just do chocolate history. Click on generate article. And we'll come to make.com here. You can see that this workflow is being triggered. It's being triggered from Flutterflow, which kickstarts this process. And then this next module here is where we tap into the SEO API from RapidAPI. And effectively what this is doing is it's using the SEO API to identify the top 10 articles, websites related to the keyword that the user inputted into the Flutterflow UI. It will take those top 10 articles, aggregate them into one text file, and then OpenAI then will take those article URLs along with a prompt, and OpenAI, oh my goodness, stumbling on these words here. OpenAI will take the prompt, take the 10 different URLs, analyze those articles, and essentially create a new article considering the structure and the content of the 10 different articles. So that's, I guess, where the SEO optimized part comes in. Very basic kind of implementation of an SEO optimized article, but on make.com, this is a simple workflow. You can iterate on this and make it more complex to make it even more SEO optimized. But this just gives you a starter around kind of how to set things up to get started. And then when OpenAI returns the response, and we have this webhook response module here, which will return that to Flutterflow, and then it will be displayed kind of on the UI here, as you can see here. So just stepping through, so we're obviously using Flutterflow here for the UI. We're using make.com as kind of like the backend logic, which is this. And then we will be using OpenAI. So you'll need an account set up there and have a secret key. So if you come to your OpenAI account, go to API keys, you'll see your secrets here. If you don't have one, create a new secret. And then we'll also be using RapidAPI. You'll need an account. This particular API that we're using here, SEO API from Serply, pretty sure it's a free one. You can see here freemium, so you should be all right without paying. I am paying for my account, I'm pretty sure. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you should be able to follow through with this with just the free account. And this is just how to set up that API call. So yeah, that's the high level overview as well as the tools that we are using. Without any further ado, let's dive into it. So basically, we just have a text field here. This is where we type in the keyword, and that will be saved as a variable, which we will add to the API call to make.com. Then we have a button, generate article. We just have a look at the workflow, the action flow editor here. Essentially, we're just doing a backend call, API call to make. And then depending on if that succeeded or not, if it succeeds, then we will update the page state and update that to false. So that's essentially dictating whether or not this HTML view thing will be displayed or not. So if there's no text in there returned from make.com, then conditionally this won't show. And if it, so that's basically that, I'm pretty sure. So just a waiting response. Yeah. So if it is, so we'll just quickly come here. So I've already made this and I'm kind of going through and just explaining how to set it up. So yeah, so we set up a local page state variable waiting response, which is a Boolean, so either true or false. We click on that. The default one is true, meaning that we are waiting for a response, meaning we haven't made that call to make.com yet. So if we come down here, so that's when the page loads, that's default. So when the page loads, that local page state variable will be set to true, meaning we are waiting. And if we come down to this HTML view widget, this will be shown if it is not waiting. So just to make that clear. So this update page state is essentially changing that waiting response to false, meaning we're not waiting anymore, it's returned. Probably we could have used a better name for it, but that's kind of what I've gone with. So that when that's set to false, that means this HTML view widget will be displayed with the text returned from make.com. Okay, so first thing we'll do, now that we've got the simple UI set up, we'll go and define the API call. So we come to the API call thing here. We've named this one make, and this URL here, you'll get that from make. So we'll head over to make real quick. So you'll need to set up an account. The free one, is fine. So, okay, so let's just quickly step through this workflow, and then we'll start from the beginning and kind of step through it in more detail. But high level, there's a webhook here. If you click on it, there's a URL. So this URL is effectively this. So we make that call on Flutterflow. That then triggers this workflow here on make.com. So once that's triggered, we are also bringing in a keyword from Flutterflow, which will be the keywords from the text field widget. That will then come to this HTTP module. And this is making a API call to RapidAI, to the SEO API. And we'll be passing in the keywords, which will be from Flutterflow. From that API, it will return, essentially what the SEO API is doing is returning the top 10 articles related to a keyword. And you can see here, so clicking this magnifier just shows you the result of that API call. So we come on here, we come to the output, so what it returns, and you come to data, and you come to results. You can see here there's 10 different results. Each has information regarding that article. So the link, the description. So this is I think this keyword was Australia or something. I'm based in Australia, so I think I typed in the keyword Australia. The second one, this is the second most searched article with the keyword Australia. You get the point. There's 10 different articles related to the keyword. From here, it runs through an iterator. And it needs to run through an iterator because if you come to OpenAI, when you try and add a variable through as part of the message that you're sending to OpenAI, you come to, so we're coming here, so we go to the data like we just did before, we come to results. You can see here, it only allows us to pick one of the 10 options. So it only allows us to pick the first option that was displayed. So you can see here, there's only one option out of that array that we can select, when really what we want is all of them and then find an average from all of them. So I probably should have mentioned at the beginning, the SEO optimized part, that is essentially taking the 10 top articles for a keyword and analyzing, I guess, all the structure, the content of those articles, and then producing a new one. So that's where the SEO optimized part comes in. Obviously super basic, but and there's probably a lot more that you need to do, but that's the gist of that concept. So it's not enough just getting one is what I'm saying. You need to get all the information from the 10 different URLs. So what this iterator does is it goes through the 10 different, coming back here, it is going through the 10 different results and then adding that URL to a text file. So it iterates on the first one, it takes that URL, adds it to a text file, goes to the second one, takes that URL, adds it to the text file, which is this. And then on this one, you pretty much have a text file with all the 10 different URLs. And then from OpenAI, you can then take that text file as the variable. And then you can imagine this is the message that you'll be sending to OpenAI. You'll have this as the prompt. And then instead of this, it will be 10 different URLs. And then OpenAI can then look at those 10 and do what it needs to from there. And then OpenAI will doing its thing, and it will return an answer formatted in HTML, and then that will return to OpenAI to Flutterflow. Sorry, and this is the formatting that it has. So this is header 1 paragraph, header 2 or header 3 paragraph. That's possible using this HTML view thing here. So, okay, that's it. So that's the process. I probably should have highlighted at the beginning, but I guess what I meant by SEO optimized, but I hope you get the point now. Okay, so we take that URL, we add it to our API here as a post request. What we then need to do is add the keywords. So if you come down to variables, we'll create a keyword variable. So keyword strings is list false. Come to the body, change it to JSON, just add the JSON here, keywords, and then the keyword variable. And what's happening here is, and then you can save it. And let's actually give this a test run. So let's just do chocolit history. So this is what the keyword variable will be, chocolate history. So we'll give that a test. So test API. You come back here, you can actually see that it's running now. So it's working. It's now at this stage here, doing its thing. Still working, which is why if we come here, nothing is returned. It's still loading, but it should be complete soon. And then you come down to the test response. There's nothing in the body, but if you come to the raw body, it has the article, and you can see it's got the relevant HTML formatting. So H1 with the header, that means that would be bigger. This will be smaller. This will be, so H2, etc. Okay, so that works. That's the API. That's simple enough. So let's move on to this. So let's move on to the next step. So we've set up the first part we've set up the webhook, we've set up the API on Flutterflow. Now this section. So this is making the API call to RapidAPI. So we come to RapidAPI. Search for this one here, SEO API by Serply. I'm pretty sure this is free. I can't remember because I've got a paid account, but I'm pretty sure it says freemium, so I'm pretty sure it's free. Anyways, you come through here, and you come to the code snippets, you go to shell curl, curl. This is the code you need. So you come here, that's the code. So you copy that, come to make, you paste that in here. And all I've done is so the Q is the query. So Q equals, if you come here, the Q equals, they've hard coded in that, those keywords. So they've put in employee, schedule, software. For us, we're not hard coding that in. That's got to be passed through as a variable, a keyword. So this is the keyword variable from Flutterflow. So instead of what we do is just do that URL and then Q equals, and then we kind of click, and then from a little sidebar thing should pop up, and then you can add in the keyword variable here. So you just kind of click it on and it pastes it in there. So that's done. The method is the get, and then if you come here, you'll see just the different header requirements. So you just need to go through whatever's on here. You just need to go through it and make sure that it's all in there. So for example, this one's proxy location EU. I didn't even put the location one in there. I just put in the other ones. So the host API key, the API key you need. So I think you need these ones at the very least. And you just pop them here under the header section. So headers, the name and the value. This is the name. This is the value. So you do that, press OK. Body type raw, JSON, application JSON. That's all good. This one here, yeah, so I'm not sure if this is the default, but you want to pass it. Passing it just, it formats it kind of like this, which makes it a bit easier to then work with after it's finished its job. So that one is kind of set up now. So the next step is you and just real quick, to add all of these, you've got the names here. You just click add and search for whatever one you want, iterator or webhook. They kind of come up here. Or this is a tool, so you come to tools and you'll see it there. The text aggregator, that's kind of another tool here. So that's how you find them. Anyways, you go to iterator, and what you're doing is you click in this section and then you find from this HTTP result output what it is that you want to iterate on. And what we want to iterate on is, if you come to the data and you come to results, which is an array, it is that. Because if you come, it's not showing it on here, but if you come here, remember, the data results, it's an array of 10 different collections. And so we want information from each of those. So you just come in here and then you go results like that. And then click OK. And what that will do is whatever follows this iterator, you know, in this particular case, it's a text aggregator tool. It will apply that text aggregator tool function to each of those 10 collections in that array. So we come here. The source module that we are working on is the iterator, which is this iterator 14. And what we are adding to the text file is the link. So what will happen is it will go through those 10 different collections, and it will take whatever you add here. So I've only got the link, but you can click link, title, description. You know, it's up to you, but it will take whatever information is in the link part of the collection and copy that to a text file. And it'll do that for however many collections there are in that array. In this case, there's 10. So in the text file at the end of it, there will be 10 different URLs. So that's essentially that. So there'll be a text aggregator, which will aggregate the 10 different URLs from the 10 different collections, add them to one kind of text file or text thing that we can then reference in a later part of the workflow. So we come down to this one. So now that we've got the 10 different URLs in the text file, we can then add that to OpenAI. So we come here, click on OpenAI. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is at the top here, and some of them you type in the credentials, and this is just where you add kind of the secret keys. This is something that you have to add, but sometimes you don't actually need to. Like for example, in this one, the blank credentials, I don't actually have any name or any secret in here. I've pasted that secret key down kind of within the actual GET request itself. Just for the sake of this, there's probably a better way to do it. But if you're, working through this and you're like, oh shit, this adding information here is compulsory, it won't let me click OK. You can just add credentials and just add nothing to them and press OK, and that'll be fine. Otherwise, if you come here, connection, you add an OpenAI connection on this one, it will step you through adding a secret, I believe. Yeah, API key. So to get that real quick, you have to sign up on OpenAI. You come over to your API keys. You have a secret key here. If you don't have one, obviously click this button, create a new one, copy that, and paste it in here when you create that connection. So your API key will be added there. And then, so come down, click the model that you want to use. I've just used GPT-4. The message, this is going to be from the user. So that's just as if you were using ChatGPT yourself, kind of when you send it a message. System would just be kind of like a hard-coded message, which will be part of the conversation, but you don't actually see on the UI. It's kind of like hard-coded in the background. But for this case, the message that we're sending is going to be from the user role. And the prompt I've put in here is just create an SEO optimized short article based on the below websites. Do not reference the articles in the article. Don't reference the articles in the article. Lol. Just use them as inspiration. Make sure to format article in HTML. Again, you can prompt engineer a better prompt than that. This is just for the sake of a tutorial. And then this one here is we click here, we come to the text aggregator and just click the raw text here. And so that we'll just include this plus the 10 different URLs. And then add your max tokens, click OK. And then for this last one is so the first webhook was a custom webhook. This one's a response. So you're returning a response back to this one. So this one, we're telling it what to return. So you come to the output of ChatGPT and you're clicking on choices and then the message content. So if we just kind of do a test run here, and this one is let's just say chocolate history. Once it returns, we can kind of click the magnify glass and just see how the output is formatted, just so I can show you exactly what we are returning. So we come to this magnify glass, click here. So you come to, so this is the output. Come to choices, come to the collection, come to the message, come to the content. that's the formatted article. So come back here again. So choices, message, content, and then content. So choices, message, content. And then what that will do is, return this in the raw body. And now coming back to the actual UI, let's set up the actual action flow from this button. So click on generate article, click open. We make that API call that we just set up. The keyword that we are, the keyword variable, we got to populate that with information from the text field. So come here, the value is the widget state, which is the text field widget, and this is the text field. There's only one text field widget, so it's this one. So we'll just take in whatever text is added within that text field. When we click on that button, that text will form that keyword variable that we send to make, and then that send to make, update page state, and then that will, so once that make API call is completed, we'll update the page state to say, pretty much indicate that it's completed, and then that HTML widget, view widget, will display with information. So that's pretty much it. So I'll run it again. I hope that kind of makes sense. So just as a bit of a recap again. So SEO optimized article using Flutterflow, make.com, using OpenAI, and then a SEO API from RapidAPI, a few APIs in there. And we will be using the SEO API to identify the top 10 articles for a particular keyword, which the person inputs as into the Flutterflow app. And then it will use OpenAI to analyze those 10 different articles in order to create another article optimized around, the aggregate of those articles, content, structure, etc. And then it will return that in the Flutterflow app as a new article. So this one looks like it's just about to load. Sorry, just 2 seconds. Here we go. So we're back on it. So the keyword we're going to do, when fire was invented. Generate article. So it's loading. You can see here this workflow's in the process. It's now up to the OpenAI step. That's doing its thing. And then we'll come back here. And there it is, the article. Alrighty, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. It's a simple app. There's kind of some pretty complex, crazy things you can do on make.com, especially if you integrate it with OpenAI. So if you have any specific, super detailed variations of an app like this, let me know and I can put something together and step through how I did it. But yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.